All right, next on the bench is a Marantz 2226. This is one of the shop acquisitions, so this is going to be an eval, kind of see if anything needs to be repaired, what needs to be repaired, what needs to be adjusted, and then we'll kind of go from there. So first things first, let's put this up on the dim bulb. And see what happens there. So you can see the dim bulb back in the corner. That's a 200 watt bulb. Let me put a smaller one in. Okay, so volume all the way down. Turn loudness off. Turn this all to flat. It's on FM. All right, here goes nothing. Okay, dim bulb seems to be okay. Let's see if we have any voltage on the outputs. Try to put this in a, oh my gosh. Put this in a spot where you can see it. I have not yet mastered the fluke magnetic stand thingy. Maybe put this over here so you can see if there's any voltage on the outputs. Hopefully not. Then we'll plug some speakers into it and see what it does, assuming this goes well. Oh, outputs are on the other side, so our speaker terminals are on the other side. Let me see if I can get over here. I'm going to plug these in because I can't see what the reading is. So nothing on right channel, which is good. Nothing on left channel, which is good. Sweet. Now again, since this one wasn't shipped to me and we got this from a customer that the owner knows, I didn't do a visual inspection of the inside, which I probably should have done. But usually when you know the people that the equipment's coming from, you assume that there's not going to be anything rolling around on the inside. So stereo light's working. I can tune in stations, and these are all local stations. Let's see. Yeah, 104.5 is really good. Right. Let's connect some speakers to it and see what happens. Plug in my test speakers real quick. Okay, so we know at a minimum we have bulbs, and just kind of a general cleanup. So that's down. Let's tune in a station that shows stereo. All right, so that's probably 101.9. If so, the dial is off. Oh, system 1. Scratchy pots. FM muting's working.
Hope your Monday is going great. One thing I've learned as a DJ is when you play...
Yep, scratchy volume for sure.
Awesomeness.
Alright, so this might be an easy kind of clean the pots, replace the bulbs type of deal. So I'm not sure about bulbs on this, but it looks like we're down 2. Have no idea what kind of bulbs these are. Well, probably 3. So 1, 2, 3 bulbs. Not sure if these are fuse type, or I would assume they're fuse type, but I'm really not sure. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this off, disconnect it, open up the inside, and reposition the camera and see what we see on the inside. All right, I unscrewed the sides. Dusty, so we'll blow this out with the air compressor. And looking to see if I can tell what kind of bulbs this thing is. Oh, there's all sorts of stuff on the inside of this. I'm going to have to pull the knobs off of this thing. Pull the face off. See about getting access to where the bulbs go. So at a minimum, clean this up. Find where to go in and change the bulbs. Oh, let's see. It looks like they're fuse type bulbs, and I might be able to get to them just by removing this. So before I get too far, let's see if this is one where it's easy to do it. Not holding out a lot of hope, but oh yeah, oh, and this side's cracked. So, oh yeah, just pops right out. Well, looks like it pops right out. Okay, yeah, so little fuse type bulbs. Now the shop owner, if I'm replacing bulbs, the shop owner wants blue because everybody that comes into the shop seems to want blue. So I typically keep a whole bunch of blue fuse bulbs in stock. I've got probably 20 or 30 of them here. So we're just going to replace all of these with blue if I have enough. Oh yeah, I've got a bag, and I got a bag here. All right, so I'm going to speed through popping these out and put some new ones in. Work on these two, kind of at least get those replaced, and then probably take this over and blow it out. I know I sped through that, but what I want to explain about the position of the bulbs was that I put them in backwards. And the reason I do that is sometimes the blue comes off, it's too blue, it's kind of purplish, and depending upon the receiver, how many lamps there are, right, I'll put them in either backwards, or I'll alternate, like some are up and some are down. Sometimes they'll be facing out like that. It's always just kind of what I see after I turn it on, see how bad or how good the lights look. I just don't want it to be too blue. That's my preference, you know. But so what I'm going to do is move the camera, power this on. Oh, let me plug it in first. Power this on, and we'll see what these lights look like. And if they're too dim, or if they're too dim, we'll just move them. So sorry for shaky cam, but let's see what happens. Yeah, so it's a very subtle blue, right? It's not, it looks really bright, but I guarantee if I had those bulbs facing forward, it would look really, really harsh, right? So I think this looks really good. Looks like the dial pointer light is out. That's going to require a little bit of homework to figure out what size bulb that pointer takes, and if I have it. It'd be the bulb up in here. I can measure the voltage. I haven't taken one of these apart yet, so I'm not sure. Gosh, it almost looks like it's a sealed. It's like a sealed. Oh, there are clips here. always learning as I go. Want to be very, very careful not to slip and break that dial pointer off. I'd rather have it without light than without a dial pointer. Man, those are tight. All right. What is going on here? Interesting. I've never seen that before. Unplug this. Don't need any accidents today. Huh. I'm not at all sure about this. It's kind of weird. There's the bulb. Kind of looks like I can just kind of flip this around, move it into position. So what I'm going to do, there's, let's see, these are the two posts. So let me check for the voltage and see if I have a bulb. Sure I'm not going to short anything. So I should be able to get a reading off of those two posts when I'm in FM. And I'm on FM, and looks like 8 volts AC. Yeah. So 8 volts. I'm pretty sure I have a bulb that will fit that. So let me check my stock over here. Alright, I got a bunch of 8 volt bulbs. Let's see, they're between 40 and 60 milliamps, which let me check something. So I looked at the schematic at 60 milliamps. I have a bulb. It might be a little small. It is a pointer bulb that I got for some other project. It's kind of sort of in this housing here. Kind of a makeshift housing. But I think I can just probably reuse. Maybe I'll be able to reuse what's in there. So I'm going to clip these wires. Kill these first. Clip the leads. I'm going to need my soldering iron turned back on. That's going to take a while to warm up. So I'm going to try to preserve, if I can, anything from this bulb. It doesn't look like I'm going to be able to really save much of anything from here. So wow. That'll sit in like so. But this bulb's kind of floating around this makeshift little cover here. May have to use some smaller shrink and get this to where it's tighter. And I've got a whole box of that, so let me jump on that real quick. So same concept, slightly different execution. I have better fitting shrink on that. So now, waiting for my soldering iron to finish warming up. And I'm going to solder that into position. Put it back into the spot it goes. This isn't very riveting, so I'm going to go ahead and speed through installing this bulb. It really did not want to cooperate. Oops, there's the cap. It's on the floor. So I'm going to fire this up and we should see light. Sweet. So we have light. Throw this on the dial pointer. This kind of sits in this little groove here. I'll make sure I get it in there far enough. This is real flimsy. It's kind of crooked. This bulb is just... There's a little tiny hump on this little metal shield. I think the back end of this is a little too fat. So... what I don't want to have happen is the bulb come flying out of the back. I don't want it to fall out of here. So, alright, so the bulb has to be in that position. And this back end is too fat. I think it's flat though now. I may have to put... probably have to put like a piece of tape or something back there just to make sure that doesn't pop out of position. Alright. Oh, come on now. What the hell? Well, if I put the cap on right, that would be a fine place to start. There we go. Okay. I'm wondering... I'm going to run that underneath the tuning wire, or the tuning cord. Oh my goodness gracious. Well, if I would have been paying attention in the first place. Man, I don't like that. So that's how it's going to sit down in there. Try flipping that piece of metal around. I still think I'm going to put a piece of tape on the back of this just to be sure. All right. Okay, let's move the camera. See what we did. Nice. Nice bright dial pointer. Yeah, clear of the cord. It's in there pretty good. I think, I don't think we're going to need a piece of tape back there. So, kind of locked it in position with that top piece. All right, so on to cleaning this thing up. So it's been blown out and dusted off, at least the inside. This is corrosion, or I don't know what that is. It's some kind of baked on there. I guess I didn't brush this off with a paintbrush, but this is corrosion. I know for sure that's corrosion. So anyway, problem is this is cracked, and I need to make sure this doesn't move. So I'm going to try to run a zip tie. I mean, what I don't want this end to crack, and I just need to come up with a way to kind of immobilize this side. And I believe I can do that with a zip tie, just to at least kind of push this into, kind of keep it locked in place. I do have some epoxy glue on there, so I'm hoping that if I can support this and line it up, that glue will dry and we'll get a good bond. The phone's blowing up. Alright, so that is holding that in position pretty good, actually. So, yeah. And I believe, ouch, dang. You know, the second I hit record is when my phone blows up. Never fails, never fails. So, again, it's not real tight, but it's also not... Where's that at? I need to see where that is on the dial. Oh, okay. So we don't have any stations that go down that low. So there is a little bump in the road down here around the far end of the dial. But, yeah, that's just how that is. Well, no. Crap. Well, son of a gun. You just can't win sometimes. You just can't win sometimes. So I don't know how to get that into... Well, it's actually kind of... I don't know. I'm just going to let it finish drying. I mean, it's lined up. It's probably as good as it's going to get. So, I mean, I think the odds of that kind of spontaneously disconnecting are pretty slim. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is clean up the outsides. I need to spray the pots, probably from underneath. Clean those up. So, yeah, what I'm going to do is flip this over, clean the pots, and then do the clean the face off. Time to clean the pots on this. So let's move this bottom off. These seem to be not easy to get to. I may have to remove the front to pull this board back and clean the pots properly. Alright. This had a bunch of grass in it. A bunch of... Oh, those are like pointy. I'm going to fast forward through this part where I pull the front face off of this and flip it over and get to the pots. there's not enough slack with this yellow wire right here to pull this out. It's too tight in here, so I may have to remove some wires, at least this one wire, to get the board to where I can flip it up and clean the pots. It looks like it's this solder connection there, but I can't really tell. So let's see if my desoldering tool is warm enough yet. So I'll have to solder this back in, if that's the wire. It looks like it is, but apparently it's not. This wire goes to maybe the post on the outside. Gosh, I don't want to remove that post. What a pain. Just to clean the pots. Nope, that post is locked in there. Goodness. Oh. Oh, crap. I'm going to have to unwrap it, which I really do not want to do. I guess I could. Well, I have to heat up my soldering gun so I can resolder those two. I guess I could remove the screws from the push button board, and that will allow this to move a little bit, but not nearly enough. What a mess. What a stupid design. I mean, really, like, why? And these things just keep falling. Oh, there we go. Gosh, what a pain. What a pain. Oh, and I popped that. It just broke it right off of the post. Son of a gun. Dumb. Just dumb. So I'm going to bend that post back out, and I'll just resolder that wire on there. Not really much of a choice, much of an option there. So anyway, I'm going to clean these and solder this back together, button it back up, test it, make sure it works, finish cleaning the face, and then we should be good to go. So everything's cleaned. Stella decided to start barking, so I had to go tend to her. I know it's not recommended that you use things like pliers or wrenches on the screws on the faces of these Marantz receivers, but I'm very careful to not touch the face. I just use this to loosen it, and then I typically will just kind of hand tighten them. Right? I don't go overboard on how tight I attach these screws or put these screws in. So all I have left to do is put these knobs on, put the top and bottom on, and test it. So I'm going to speed through this boring stuff, and I'll meet you on the other side after I have this put back together. Alright, so the Marantz is done. Put it back together. What I failed to catch on video, though, while I had it apart, was as a general rule, I will check DC offset and bias and make any adjustments. So DC offset was perfect on this. The bias adjustment, I had to adjust it to 20 millivolts. I had to attach to like a couple of jumpers, like 805 or something like that. But anyway, it was within like 2 millivolts already, so not really much of an adjustment there. Not much to see. So let's turn this on. I had to reposition these two lamps because they were pretty dim. Now this camera makes it look like they're really, really bright, but they're really not all that bright. It's just the camera sensitivity. So good sound, no more scratchy pots. All right, everything is working the way it's supposed to work. I don't have an antenna hooked up, so the stereo light won't come on because I don't get strong enough reception here. But the stereo light was working before. So yeah, so this one's good to go. Pretty easy one. Thankfully, because the last couple of projects that came across my bench were not easy ones. You'll be seeing videos on some of those. Most of those. So anyway, if you like what you see, hit like, hit subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.